to Investing for the Unpredictable. Today's show, our guest speaker is Brad Blazar. And I'll let Brad take it from here.
All righty. Thank you, Chantel. It's great to be here with y'all. My name is Brad Blazar, two-time author, speaker, and coach, and creator of a coaching program called Capital School, where we basically teach entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs how to attract, how to raise investor capital so they can build, buy, or scale the business, or maybe just fund a special project like a real estate transaction.
Well, Brad, that sounds impressive. I know the audience is going to want to hear more about what you do.
Well, thank you. You know, it largely started many years ago when I was going to school studying architecture. I wanted to be a real estate developer. And while I was in school, Chantel, I got sidetracked. I responded to an ad in a local newspaper and went to work for a small oil company. And what they hired me to do was to essentially get on the phone and reach out to high net worth individuals and basically build trust and establish a relationship. And that largely taught me a skill at a very young age. And I was able to take that skill. And then in my 20s, at the old age of 23, basically dropped out of college and printed up some letterhead and business cards and hired a couple of salespeople and, geologist and landman. And over the course of a decade, built a pretty sizable small oil company. And we were raising millions of dollars a month and had drilling programs going in multiple states, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. And then in the late 1980s, early 1990s, due to the changing tax structure here in the United States and due to collapsing energy prices, I was basically forced to collapse the business. Never had to file for bankruptcy because we never had any debt on the books. But I took some time off and really did a lot of soul searching and tried to find out what I was really good at and gifted at in life. And what I came to largely realize is one of my hard skills, or one of my primary skills, was understanding and largely knowing how to raise investor capital. And so I basically created a career over the last roughly 20, 25 years, aligning myself with business owners, entrepreneurs, real estate companies, and to date have raised a little over $2 billion in capital and trained dozens of other people how to do this as well. And so today, as the creator of a coaching program that now has students all around the world, what we do is we teach business owners, entrepreneurs, and individuals how to attract, how to and how to raise investor capital from high net worth individuals or, really family offices. And it doesn't matter where an individual is on the journey of raising capital. They could be brand new to it, or they could have been doing it a while. We can really help almost anybody just due to our team and the fact that, we largely know how to raise capital and do it right.
Brad, that's very impressive. I'll tell you why. There's a lot of business owners like myself who are looking for ways to improve their businesses and really want to get high net worth clients. Mm-hmm. What I like that you pointed out is that it doesn't matter whether they're new at it or experienced people. That's an important factor.
Yep. Absolutely right. When I talk to individuals that are business owners, many of them, of course, want to be doing better. They want to scale. They want to be more profitable. But one of the big struggles or the big problems is they lack the money. Because they're growing organically. And, I explained to them that really all the money they need exists in the world today. They just need to largely understand how to go out and ask for it, maybe how to put together a private placement memorandum, or better yet, how to use social media like LinkedIn and Facebook to position themselves in front of other people so that they can largely get investor interest. I think the biggest problem that most people have is they go to a bank or they go to the SBA, and it's a very long, lengthy process. And in many cases, of course, people don't qualify. But once you learn the skill of attracting and raising money from investors, really that is almost like the key that unlocks the door to greater success, because it allows you now to grow and scale your business, or it allows you to maybe invest in a large real estate project. And the example I sometimes use, most people are very familiar with the television show Shark Tank. And if you watch Shark Tank, largely what you see coming into the tank to pitch to the sharks are not startups. They're not new people that have an idea that have no track record. For the most part, people on Shark Tank are business owners or entrepreneurs that have had a business for a while, and they just need more money, which is the reason they're there. And so having this skill and really learning how to do this has been a blessing to me, and has largely been a blessing to a lot of the people that we've coached that have come through our programs.
Are there any particular businesses that work well with this program and some that do better than others, or any specific industry that fits in with this type of program?
No, it really works in all applications. At the end of the day, raising capital or raising money from investors is really the same. It doesn't matter whether it's real estate. Doesn't matter whether you're doing an e-commerce business. Doesn't matter whether you're trying to buy a franchise. It largely is a system that we call the 4-step blueprint. And it's largely understanding that you have to build trust. You have to create a relationship with that other person before they would ever consider investing with you. But understanding a few of these principles and understanding the psychology that lies behind it, that goes through an investor's mind as they're doing due diligence and as they're getting to know you, anybody can be very successful. I will tell you that obviously a large percentage or a large portion of the students that we do coach are in real estate. They could be multifamily investors, or they could be doing things in single family residential. And I think that's just largely because once people get into real estate, they understand that, real estate is a fairly capital intensive business. Doesn't matter whether you're doing a small single family house where you're going in and you're doing some light rehab. Eventually you're going to have to pay for things like carpeting and paint and landscaping and maybe appliances. And if you don't have the money, of course, somebody else does. And then once you get into larger properties like small apartment communities, of course, you need access to capital there. And, one of the challenges I think that a lot of real estate entrepreneurs have is frequently they'll go to a traditional lender. They'll go to a hard money lender, or they'll go to a bank and they'll borrow money. And, that's fine. Nothing against that. It's just that when you do that, you're taking on debt. And people that provide financing in that form or fashion obviously have monthly payments. There's obligations that need to be met. And we all know that, life does not throw us guarantees. Things go wrong. Sometimes deals don't turn out the way that we had expected them to. And the problem, of course, when you have debt or you work with the lender, is they can come and take the keys to the asset and ultimately foreclose. What I've largely learned is investors do not have the right to foreclose. And that's why if you look at some of the largest real estate empires that have been built, they've largely been built using OPM, other people's money, or off the backs of investors, because investor capital tends to be a little bit friendlier. And I've largely learned that investors are patient. And as long as you're honest and you communicate, I think it's a safer route to success. But again, you have to learn how to approach investors. You have to learn how to have those conversations, and you have to learn how to come prepared.
For